Hey guys, Michael here, back for some more Energy Worker University. Anyways, I've got some stuff for you guys today, and responding to some of your comments, I got a whiteboard here. It's going to be a fun time using it, and it's going to be great for today, especially. Now, what we're going to be learning today is primarily just with raising your body's temperature. Now, you can do this a number of ways, but here's a way that I've looked at, and it's very effective. And I've even added to it for my own personal stuff. And I'll show you the base technique I started out with, then I'll show you what I've added to it to make it even more stronger, more powerful. And I do not expect everyone will get the more advanced areas as they go along. The basic one is pretty easy to get your head around and everything, but the other one, it takes a bit more practice, and so don't be hard on yourself if you do not get it for that first bit. Now, and I'm going to remind you guys throughout the video if you guys have any questions so far. Anyways, here we go. All right. Now, there's a couple energy points in your body that specifically raise temperature. I'm going to show you them to you here now. I'm going to first point out the main one. All right. All right, right here, we're going to start here with the body here. Now, let's say right here is about where your root chakra is, give or take, give it right about here. So it's just a bit above that, and it's kind of right around that stomach area, but just a bit below the solar plexus. All right, so right about there. Now, this is a main heat core, as I like to call them. And these heat cores activate specific temperature points in your body. Now, this one is very easy to access. It's very accessible. The other ones are a little harder to find, and I'll show you guys those in a minute. But what you're going to do is, with that point, you guys are going to expand it outwards. So you're going to expand it outwards. Keep going. And it should get to right about the middle of your spine here, give or take right about there. Now, this is very important because it raises your core body temperature. And this alone can, like, if you have gloves, hat, and everything else, you can be pretty warm any time of the day if you're in the dead of winter. And you can even get it to the point where if you're just wearing some good shoes and stuff, and you have some maybe gloves, you can go out in the dead of winter, shorts and everything, and you can be pretty warm. All right. Now, I see we have one person watching so far, and I expect more will probably file in as we go. But if any of you guys have questions so far, or just want to say hi, you can go over there in the Q&A and you can talk, and that is open for questions. All right. Now that I've reviewed the basic part of this here first, what we've got here is, as I said earlier, for those that just arrived, is this is your first heat point here. And what you're going to want to do is, as I said earlier, you're going to want to expand it out until it hits about to your spine. Now, for some of the other points of energy here, I'm going to erase this and just make it smaller so you guys can see the other points. All right, so that's the first heat point, and as I said in the beginning of the video, this one's pretty easy to access. Let me make that a little darker for you guys. All right, that one's pretty easy to access. It's like you can get that pretty easily. But now for something a bit more advanced, here are some other ones here. There's ones here, right about here, just a bit above your heart area, so right about here. And then we've also got one right about, where is it? Just between your crown and your third eye, give or take. And there's a few more in the face, but I'm not going to go over into that. I want you guys to at least have the basic parts of it first. And if you guys want me to, I can do a more advanced video on this later. But I want you to at least have these three basic ones here. Now, for a little bit more advanced, because I believe this should be part of it, and also a stretch goal for you guys. The feet and hands are probably the hardest part of this whole thing, and probably something a lot of you might struggle with. And oh, we have one little thing in there. They're saying hi. It's in a heart. Thank you. All right. So here we go. We're going to start here with the hands here. All right. Now right here in the center of your hand, like as you've seen in my previous videos, is an energy exchange port. Now right here is also a heat port, as I like to call them. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to summon elemental energy. And you know, you can also expand it here, but to make this more effective, we're going to use elemental energy in this. All right. Now, if you guys saw in my last video how to create fire, this should be very useful for you guys. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to use this, expand it a bit, so expand it a bit more, and you're going to allow each of these to flow along in the meridian points here. So I'm going to connect those up. Okay. I'm going to connect them here. Okay, here. See, each of these dots are meridian points. Here, here, here. And you want them all to flow into those fingers here, because otherwise your finger will freeze off. And trust me, I've experimented with this quite a bit. Your fingers do get freezing if you aren't protecting your fingers. Okay. Here and here. And you might have heard me mention in one of my previous videos that it contains a little chakra, or I like to call them energy centers. And they're not main chakras, but they are little points. So we're using this point here to expand the fire, the elemental energy out into the hands. Follow me so far? All right. Now the type of energy is very important because it brings forth that intention of fire and heating. And now all intention is basically a way to give your energy purpose. And so that's why we're using that fire element here. All right, so we got it here, 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 going on up. And that's how you expand for the hand. Now, there are more stuff you can do with this, and you know, if you guys want, you can tell me here in the Q&A if you want me to go into more detail on this, or if you guys want me to keep it just basic and go into a later video on this. But now, here's for the foot. Now the foot, you know, some of you may recognize this little point here. It's the well point. And for some of you healers out there that know this one's a very important one, because then this one's for the feet itself. You're going to do the same thing here as you did with the hands. Using the fire element and expanding this well point right here and allowing that elemental energy, and you're transforming your chi energy into elemental energy is what I'm saying. You're not using chi energy necessarily, you're transforming it into fire elemental energy. So don't get mixed up on that. I know some people that I've talked to and taught this to have got a little mixed up on that. All right, and for those that you just arrived, these little points right here, each of them are just little chakra points. So if you guys, so for those that you just arrived, just know that. All right. Now for the later bits here. Now that you've gotten your hands and feet and your core mainly warmed up by expanding these points here, and you know, using that fire element is very good for you to do. And you know, there's some other elements you can get into, but fire is mainly the one you'll be wanting to use. Now, for your arms, let's say your arms are cold. All right, you have little fire points right here, 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 and here. Now, I want you to notice something here. Oh, I made a mistake on that. Let's erase that. Okay. I want you to notice something. These points are all between right here in the forearm, the bicep area for the arms, and you're going to want that fire to flow into each of the areas here. So flow it. And these two will run into each other and keep the elbows warm, and then down here into the wrist, and so on here. And all right. And for these ones, you guys can actually connect them up. So if you guys ever get the chance, what you can do is you can actually start to have them flow along here. Now, the difficult part of this technique is actually beginning to focus on the areas of where you need to. So you want to be very keen where you're focusing on your awareness. Now, as I've said in my previous videos, focusing your awareness is extremely important. So if I was to focus right here on my back here, actually, let's use a black marker for this. Okay. All right, let's say here that this is your back here. Oh, my Facebook's still open. Okay, let's say this is your back here. You're going to want, after you expand it, and you've got the 3 here, let's say these are 3, and I know this is kind of a base drawing here. That fire is going to want to go in between all of them and flow into each other. So you're getting a much more hotter effect. Hotter. All right. One person says get into more here. All right, well, get into more. Now, if any of you guys have any questions so far, do tell me, because I do want to hear you guys' questions. All right. Okay, now so far I've taught you guys the main basics on how to get all of the areas flowing. And the main points is there's also some else points here. And you all want them to flow into each other. That's the main idea of this technique. They're all working together in harmony to create your temperature. And this is how your temperature is regulated so far in your body. So as you can imagine, for some people, like when they go to sleep, they get insanely hot. And what's happening is your body temperature is heating up. And if you guys will, some of you guys know in healing, what happens to a person is the more heat they have, the more likely they are to heal. And that's why you get a fever. Not only is your body fighting the virus and trying to kill it, it's also bringing up that heat to give it more life energy to heal yourself. So the more heat you have, the more, how to say this? When you go to sleep, basically you're recharging your energy. So it's activating those points in the first place, and so it's allowing more healing. But as some of you healers know, when there's too much heat, it becomes destructive, and when there's too less of heat, you start dying, you just go cold. So you get the point there. So a lot of you already experience this, but just on a subconscious level, where your body just responds to it. A lot of the energy work for people, they just respond to it subconsciously. Like when they want to read someone, they're going to turn towards them, they're going to look at them, and their belly's going to be pointed towards them. Remember that pit in your stomach when you don't feel something's right? That's where it's all coming from. It is literally an antenna. So when people are facing each other, they're subconsciously trying to read each other's energy, even though they don't even know it. So keep in mind, ask the question, why am I doing this? Or why do I get hot? Or why do I get cold? And you can start to really unravel the mysteries of why we get hot or cold. All right. Now, so far, I've gone over a few things here. Now, is there any questions so far that you guys want me to go over? And because otherwise, I'm going to do one more thing, and then if there's any more questions, I'll answer them. But I'm going to end maybe about 2-3 minutes. So if you have your questions, forever hold your peace. Put them up now. All right, one last piece here. I have to draw this in. I didn't have this ready, but I wasn't planning to go this far. So You guys are getting stretch goals here. All right. Let's say you have your face here. I know this is gonna be really disfigured head. It looks like an alien. Look, look, we got an alien here. He's got a huge head. Oh dear. Okay, let's give him some alien eyes, I suppose. Let's give him some alien eyes. Yeah, let's give him some alien eyes. Okay, we've got him some alien eyes. All right, but let's just pretend this is you for a second. All right. Now, for some of you that get cold, like up here in your face, there are areas of the meridians that actually branch out along your face, and your third eye does this as well when it gets more expanded and it starts to branch out, kind of almost, how to explain it? It's almost kind of like a tree or a spider web kind of goes throughout your face, but the same way thing works for the heat as well. So up here, as I said here, you've got the main heat source up here, just above the third eye, which is, let's say that's about third eye, and let's say the crown's up here. So it's right in between here, so give or take right about here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to spread this into your cheekbones here and allow the fire to fill into the cheekbones and spread out right about here, and then also down through here and up into the nose, and you should begin to get very hot for your face. And spread this down into your neck best you can, get it nice and warm. So yeah, as I cannot stress enough, let these work together and work with them one at a time. Start with the basic one I showed you guys first right here. Start with the basic one, because if you start with the basic one, then you get to expand into these other ones here, and then so on. And it takes time, and I don't expect anyone who starts this to get it all at once. So if you're not getting it all at once, or it's taking you a month to get all the 3 of these to working together, that's fine. It takes time. Psychic abilities, like, you can have desire to learn them, but you have to get a need for them. If you don't have a need to practice, you're not going to do it. And your higher self is not going to engage with you in getting these abilities. So you've got to engage, and instead of just a desire, it has to become a need for you if you want to get further and further into these abilities. So I'm going to finish drawing this out here, right here, here, okay. But it looks like there's no more questions. I'll wait. I'll do this last little bit here, and I'll end the video unless there's any more questions here. So if you have a question, quickly put it down. Or you can PM me later, or put it in the comments below. But anyways, some of the stuff I'm working on right now is I'm still working on that third eye video. I've been having a hard time getting it all done. I just worked 11 hours today, 6:30 to what, I think it was like 5. I'm working some pretty long hours with some experiments this week with not only my job and also like keeping updated on things for you guys. So doing much as my time as available is to you guys. So really trying here to get these videos out, but some of my more higher quality videos, trying. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.